like a mosaic. You see, it's 6 cookies that I put in the board, and I try to play with some palette knife. So that's what we're doing tonight. Okay. So I'm gonna put this
Woohoo!
on the
Go.
side. At the side. I don't know if your mic. It sounds like my voice. My voice sounds good.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna try
Okay.
to be
Because
quiet because I keep messing everybody up.
that. No, no. What happened is I can hear you, but it's like little, like metallic sound. Okay. So I'm going to start. So the different thing that I did with the fluff and stuff. You see that has the instructions in the back, and honestly, I'm blown away of the smoothness and the texture and the flavor, obviously. So to make the fluff and stuff, you start doing the meringue with the water. So you fluff it up a little bit, and then you add the powdered sugar. So you make your traditional royal icing. So what I did different is just I use the powdered sugar and the meringue powder first, and then I start adding water little by little until I got this like super thick like paste or texture. So you see it's really, really stiff. So that's what we're looking for, okay, to make this palette knife technique. I honestly, I love doing palette knife. There is not many people who does it. I do it kind of like a lot in cakes. So I was like, what can I do? What can I do? So like, okay, let's just do palette knife with this amazing product. So I have my cookies here, kind of like attach it. I mean, you can do it one full cookie, or like me that I did like a little tiles or a mosaic. Obviously, I don't have a blue printer, a big blue, but you can always do this step with a big blue. Just load your cookies and print your image. In this case, this was like a freehand. So you can always print, the background, like this yellowish color, this blue color. You can always do it with a big blue. I don't have one. I'm thinking about it because I don't make like a too much cookies. But you know what? Sometimes it's just to have something that make you happy.
But we
So
won't
I'm
let you
going to
buy it
use,
just to buy it. Just saying, Mate. You have to have a good
right?
reason. You have to have a good reason
Yes.
to have it.
It's just to be happy in having something that makes you happy. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little bit of background. I'm just using powder colors in this occasion, but you can always do this with just regular gel color. I'm using, this is my magic liquid. It's kind of like, how do you say, a color activator, or the other one that Simi has the color. I forgot the liquid. The thingy for
Are,
the thingy.
yeah, the thingy for the thingy.
Well, this is just to make something like watercolory color, just to have something in the background. Obviously, you can always print this part, or you can always flood your cookies with color icing. Okay. So in this case, I was lazy. I flooded this last night. And you know that I love to paint in cookies, so this is a good excuse to paint in cookies. So I'm using a little bit of blue. I'm gonna rinse my brush, and this is just to have something. Oh, sorry, in the background. And I'm going to use now a little bit of yellow. You see, I'm just using a powder, but definitely you can use any gel color. You can even airbrush this part. So this is just to have some color before. And if I finish this on time, I have a bonus. if I finish on time. I hope that I can finish on time. So yes, just I remember that my first um, competition in Austin in 2017, and I placed one of my pieces. It was the small pieces. I placed third place, and for the first time I make a showpiece, but I misread the rules, so it wasn't judged. But it was a nice, beautiful, like a almost life-size bride.
Yeah, I remember seeing it, and that's where I saw you for the first time, almost like in
Yes.
passing.
Yes. So it was the first time ever. And then like Becky Norton said, like, oh, you were old. Ah, believe me, I'm older. Just a little bit of green. Okay. Just something like that. Okay. So now I'm just going to like freehand the figure because I'm gonna pipe on top. Again, you can print this part, but I'm just going to go with basic shape. So it's like a circle, and this is going to be the neck, and then this is going to be the shoulders, and this is going to be the torso. So this arm can just be like here, and then this just something like here and the arm. You see? Like elementary. Hi, Maria Stella. And
Yeah, I love the way
then
you turn it into the next cookie. You don't have to paint all at once.
exactly right. So this is going to be the one of the ballerina shoes, and then moving here, we can have the second one just right here, and this is the leg. Okay, so we can start with that. Okay, we are vintage. Yeah, really vintage. So now I have this kind of like a chopping mat that I always purchase. I love this mat because they are really um, versatiles. Okay, and I have a plastic that I'm going to start covering my royal icing because since this has like a little water, I'm gonna move a little bit more over this way my cookies so you can see how I start using my palette knife. So I have this little palette knives. Obviously, you can purchase these in Amazon or in art stores. And I use just the tiny ones. See, this has more point than this one. And these are the ones that we are using today. And I have my mat here and my royal icing. So I'm gonna start just grabbing little at a time because we don't need much. So besides that, I'm gonna show you the the palette knife. We're gonna talk about a little bit of the color theory, right? So I'm gonna grab tiny little bit in here at the time, and I'm going to start just mixing my colors. So I'm gonna start with the darker one because I'm going to start like right in the corner. So we're gonna start from far away and going in towards the waist. Okay, so I'm gonna just grab. This is too much. So I'm gonna grab just half. And I'm just gonna start mixing my, look at this beautiful color. I'm gonna start just mixing my powder colors. And honestly, I choose powder colors because that's the one that I have in my house. I've been traveling, so sometimes I have some in one bag, some in another bag. And I was like, these are available right now. So now that you see, super fast, very beautiful color. So I'm just going to spread in a nice and even layer with my same palette knife. I'm just gonna clean it. I don't know what I did with my, oh, here. Just like a wet rag to start cleaning your palette knife. And I'm going to start using just one edge of my palette knife. You see how it's like, look like a triangle? So I'm just going to use this part of the palette knife, and I'm going to start grabbing little by little. I'm gonna start picking little by little icing until I have, this is like 2 basic strokes for palette knife. So is this one, when you build, you see, you build your petal or your grabbing. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, these are a little harder than the icing sheets. You can mix the colors, but I feel that you need a little bit more harder background. So we have these that you can see the ripples right here, because you grab little by little and then you're going to start thinking about like when you walk, that you put your heel first and then just move it towards your toes, right? It's when you walk like this. So that's the same movement that we're going to do with the palette knife. So thinking about the part that is close to this little thing part, this little thingy. So this is your heel. Obviously, these are the toes. So you're going to start uh, loading your or unloading like heel and toe, and you're going to press and then you're going to let it down like that. See, it's really easy. It just start picking, picking, picking. Try to scrape really nicely. And if it curves too much, you can always just like push it back. And then again, heel and toes. If you feel that your icing is not sticking in the cookie, maybe it's a little dry. So I have this just regular icing, maybe it's like a 10, 12 seconds. I just mix it a little bit. You see, it's kind of like a 2 drops, just to make it more moist. Oh, and I'm going to cover this, the one that I'm not using, because since it doesn't have too much water, it can dry really fast. So again, I'm just mixing, spreading. So that's one stroke that you can start loading your palette knife from right to left to have a petal one side. See, you see, and then I just push it up a little bit and then just place it. Or you can do it from left to right to have the other side petal. Yes.
You're doing
Heel
good.
and toes.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. That's the action. Heel and toes. So I'm gonna start just spreading a little bit this color, and whatever I have left, I'm just going to mix it with more white. So I start just changing. That's what I love palette knife, because you don't need to start getting many uh, dishes dirty. You need more color, just mix it and the board. So it's a little bit lighter. So that's how you can start having your different shades, heel and toe. Again, a little bit more. Now,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Chris,
leave a little bit of my color in here. I'm gonna finish maybe here. So I'm gonna start just moving like in a fan motion, okay? So now I want to switch to a different color. This is just 2 shades of the same color, but I want to start switching. So for all the color to match on your eye, even is a different hue, you can always use a little bit of the previous hue. In this case, is like the red. So I'm going to use that kind of like a background, and I'm going to move into a different color that in theory is a different one, but when you put it together, it kind of match, because you have like a little bit like under mix. I don't know if it makes sense. Just using the same previous color, mixing with a new color, give you like that matching, even though there are kind of like different hues. This is more orangey, but since I use a little bit of the red, it's going to match really nice, and it's not going to feel like a off color. Okay, so I'm gonna try to keep moving a little faster so we can just finish the plus. Same thing, I'm just going to start heel and toe. That's the good thing about this technique. There is no right or wrong. So the second stroke, you see, I just white and the same, whatever left color behind, I have my new shade of the same color. So the other, you see, this is more like open stroke. So the other basic stroke is kind of like to make like leaves. So same thing, you always start with a nice and even layer, not too thick. I'm gonna clean my spatula. Oops, I cleaned it too much. Okay, so now I'm going to load my palette knife, but you see, this is one stroke that you make, it looks like a petal because it's more open. And then it's when you just load it or discharge and the cookie like that. So you have my like a more square petal in the top. But now I want more like a pointy petal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load my palette knife, but I'm going to clean both sides. So I don't need nothing sticking in any of the sides of my palette knife. See, I have icing. Oh, yeah, thank you. So I have icing, but I don't see any in the sides. But the same thing, I'm just going to heel and toe, and then just like make a little bit of pressure and then just slide down my palette knife. So now I have, oh yeah, right there. So now I have more pointy finish. See, when I low little by little, I can see all this and I can use like to make a petal more square. But if I want like a more pointy, I need to clean both sides. And I only see icing on the back of my palette knife, and then the front, I don't see anything. Same thing, I'm going to do heel and toe. So now I have more pointy finish. Okay, now I'm gonna get, hi Caroline. I'm gonna grab a little bit more white to have it right here. And I'm gonna kind of like cover it. So now I'm going to change color. I want to make it more like yellowish. So I'm going to use this, whatever color left over, I'm gonna grab, and now I'm going to change to yellow. But since I have a little bit extra of my previous color, it's kind of like ombre look. You are like going like house to house, but with the previous plate, you know, like, oh, I'm going to visit my neighbor and she's going to give you something to eat and you're going to have a plate. And then you're going to go to the next house, but you're going to bring the same plate. And then you're going to start mixing.
I love
Okay,
your
so you see,
analogies.
I know. So now it's a yellow tone, but it's going to match perfectly with my colors because I've been mixing a little bit of the colors in the same yellow. So I'm gonna start just moving a little faster. I know I talk too much sometimes. and
No, it's
and then
wonderful.
in a fan motion. So we have two different petals. The one that is more square and this one that are more like pointy. And the square ones, you can always you see how it curves and then just on curve, and then when you put it in the cookie, you can always like move it and make it more open. You see, it's kind of like a zigzag, and then you open your petal a little bit more. You're going to see this movement in the other cookie that I'm going to make. So I'm going to keep moving. So I'm gonna add a little bit more, and now I'm going to change. Well, I'm gonna make this a little lighter. First, I like to do like a 2 or 3 different shades of the same color. So you have that movement of colors here and there. When you get the scrape or the loft of the palette, it's really fast. I just finished this, and now I'm going to start with this color. I'm going to add a little bit of this super like orange. This is almost like neon. Well, no almost. This is like neon. So even I'm going to use like a different colors. Everything is going to match. Okay, and so again, spread. I like to clean my spatula so I don't have this extra. Just clean it with a wet rag. Again, I'm just going to start scrape, 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 and the size kind of like a 45 angle. I have my spatula. It's not all the way straight. So here and there. And then here. It looks like you can use like a peacock color, so it's gonna be super good. Another right here. And now I have a little left. So I'm going to use a little more white. You see, we're almost like halfway. And now I'm going to start adding a little bit of green to this color. Oh, who wants to come to the river walk? Yes, you can. I live like 7 minutes from the river walk. So you are more than welcome. And I think since I live in San Antonio, I've just been in the river walk like 3 times.
I've been there 2 times, and I live in Virginia.
No, right? Probably the same as many times as me living here, but it happens, right? Like
Yep.
I never been inside of the Alamo, so that's it. See, cleaning, toe, and heel and toes, heel and toes. Okay. Just keep adding colors and then this motion. So now I'm going to, let me just finish this color. Well, not finish. I'm going to start adding a little bit of pink. So I'm going to start just changing my hue. Oh, this is a beautiful pink. But you see how little icing I'm using? For this technique, you don't need much. Oh, look at this color. Oh, it's so pretty. It looks like a blush color. Again, if it's a little dry, just have your regular icing just to make it a little more wet and it can attach to your cookie. Spread and start. And you see I'm using the same spatula or palette knife. I haven't changed.
And you have all those different shapes and shades and dimensions.
Right, exactly. So I'm just trying to make it a nice arrangement of colors. So now that I have my pink, so now I can start just doing more pink now. And after the pink, I'm going to switch to the purples. So you see, we start reds, orangey, yellow, green. Oh, now grab the purple. Well, let's just make purple. I want to do more pink, but let's just do like this little tiny. I'm gonna add more pink. And I have this like It's not super bright pink. It's more, this is color, what is this? Oh, well,
It,
It's from Mexico, it's like papaya. Papaya pink. No,
yeah.
pitaya. Pitaya is like a fruit.
Yes.
So now you see, I switch, and I'm using the same space, the same uh, spatula, and then mixing the colors that way, you can always be sure that it won't like be how to say strange.
Yeah, the colors that will blend nicely.
Yes, because you are
So,
using a previous color.
so tell me, my
I said,
Maythe. See, I'm focused on the my so much, and it's really simple, you know. But my brain.
it's
So you tried Fluff and Stuff for the first time. It's a meringue powder from the Susan Triano's
well,
collection.
this is yeah. So I already use it in the regular fluff and stuff. This is the first time that I'm using for this technique.
Yeah. And what did you think about it when you first try it? Because there's
Oh
tons
my
of
gosh, I was mind blown. I make a little video and I send it to Susan. I was
uh-huh.
like, what is this magic thing? No, zero bubbles. You know, like we struggle with the bubbles
Yeah.
mainly, and the texture to make it real fluffy because the normal, for me, at least that's my experience. So if you try to make the royal icing fluff, you need to kind of mix it more because normally it's always kind of like flat, right? Oh, that's my experience. So maybe I don't know how to do it, but it's always kind of like flat. So when you try to make it fluffy, you need to mix it more. And what it happens, like you can over mix, and then it becomes a meringue. So when the royal icing dries, it just dissolves like a powder. So that happens when I need to make like a real nice and puffy and fluffy. So when I use Susan, oh my gosh, for real. Not because I love her, not because, for real, it's a beautiful product because you get this like super puffy finish and zero bubbles like at all.
Yeah. When you follow the directions, which are really, really easy, you don't get the
Pretty
bubbles.
easy.
Even I could do it.
Yes, even you can do it. And the second thing is for real, you are using less. Let me tell you that my recipe, I use 6 tablespoons of meringue powder because I'm freaky about the dry because I work fast, you always when you work fast you always want to the royalizing like dry. So I use
Yeah.
6 tablespoons of meringue powder for every 2 pounds. So
Wow. Yeah.
when she mentioned like, oh, you only need like two, I was like, what? There is no way. But yeah, it was. It was really easy to use, and the performance, woo, it deserved like
Yeah.
a Grammy. Okay,
And it tastes
I'm kind
great.
of like finished. I mean, my other cookie, it looks more summer. Looks more like autumn. See, because I use more greens and I can add a little bit of blue over there, but you get the idea, right? So you get the idea and how. Oh, thank you. Oh. Wait, okay. Why's my cookie just hit the wrong button? I'm just like real quick. I'm just going to float the body. I already have a little bit of fluff and stuff, with just like a skin color, and this is just like extra because you can always just paint. And then I'm just going to make again just basic shapes. And she has like a little bone. Let me just cover the, I should use a different color of the marker, but it's okay because we are covering, you see, and really is, and I am not a cookier in this way of you using royal icing the traditional way. I'm trying to mask my how you say it, my not knowledge of royal icing traditional with different
Your
things.
drawing,
Yeah.
your drawing was
So,
good because it gave you the guide that you needed.
oh yeah. And then you see just lines and this is more like a stylish. Okay, this is weird. So I think we need. Sorry, I think my hand is on the way. I just realized that I make this shoulder too too high. Okay, it's okay. We can make another flower over here.
Yeah. When all else fails, make a flower.
Yep, that's what I tell my students. Like, don't worry, you can always make a flower or do something extra. You know, it's weird because I'm teaching for quite a bit now, and it's always beginners in the store that I work. And people want to make masterpieces the first time. I was like, chill out. Not even me. Not even us can make like a something perfect. And people is get upset. Like when they get like a flaws, I was like, well, good luck. Good luck in your life. Because you're never gonna learn. You just focus and try to make it perfect instead of real learn the technique and then just practice afterwards. Because for me, as I always say, like a 10% technique because you need to know what are you doing and why, and then it's just like practicing. So when you have the mistakes like me, this body is kind of like weird,
Yeah.
and you know how to fix it afterwards, right? So now
Well,
for my
you
own
can't.
cooking, I just start doing a little here and there, like using the same colors that I didn't save, but it's just like the same thing. It's just here and there using the palette knife with different colors, kind of like the wind is blowing.
It's beautiful.
But it's the technique that I use for these cookies. And at the end, you can always paint and do some shadows for the ballerina and so.
Yeah. It just comes together so nicely, and I love the bright colors. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. So this is one of the make it like a tile cookies or like a mosaic, and it's
Hmm.
really pretty because it's like a showstopper. Like you can place this type of cookies in your table, and then afterwards people just can grab one and take it home.
And you can do that on other items too, which is nice. But I love
Oh
the
yeah,
idea.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love the cookies and the way things come together like that.
Yes, because this technique, as I mentioned, I use it a lot in cakes with buttercream.
Okay.
And it's really nice and it's really fast. That's what I love about this technique, that it's really fast. As you can see, just like a small little piece of my mat and then
Yeah,
just one little palette knife. So I think we still have time, right?
that's beautiful.
For an extra one.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Thank you. So we still have time for this one?
Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of the same, obviously, but I want to show you like in one cookie. And let me just, I'm gonna just switch this way so it's not as dirty. Okay. And for this, I'm using just a straight cookie. This, I didn't ice the background. You can always do it. Ice the background, but for now, I just painted because I really like the contrast of the dark background with the white flower. But it's just like the cookie, and I just painted it on top with the powders. And we're going to do kind of the same.
It's really
It's
pretty
in
like that.
Texas. Yes, it's in Texas. The Riverwalk, San Antonio, Texas. Okay, I'm gonna just
We're
move
all
over a little
coming.
bit. We all coming. Oh, I love it. I love it. Really love it. Okay, so I have my white icing. I'm gonna add a little bit more white. So it's not as translucent, but if you like more translucent, obviously you don't need to make nothing. Other just mix it with less water. And for this design, we are using the first stroke where we build, and the side of the palette knife. Let me just make a little more thin because you don't need like a super thicker icing layer, but you need to have it like nice and even, something like that. Yes, road trip. Well, I don't have to do road trip. I can just wait
We
for
can
you.
just pick you up.
And
We'll pick you up.
yes, on the way, because I say I'm just like right here. So I'm going to start picking my icing. Let me just clean this part, make it a little more square. So, and I like this way because I can just go in a line. So I can just like mark these lines. Oh, I need this way as well because I need both sides because I'm going to scrape from both sides.
Okay.
So I'm going to do it like little by little, and I'm going to build. So grab, you see how far I'm going with this and the ripples because I just grabbing little by little. So I'm going to put it in my cookie and kind of like press and go out this way, kind of like moving like up and down. And I can lift this part. And now I'm going to grab it from the other way to close my petal this way. So I'm doing one part of the petal, or half of my petal, grabbing from the right to left, and then I grab from the left to right from the other side of the petal. So now I have like the two scoops, kind of like that. That's the way. So I'm gonna keep doing my petals again, one side for one. I'm gonna just turn this over a little bit and then just drop my icing, and then I'm going to grab from the other side. So I'm building my one petal from both sides. See, and then just like heel and toe towards the center. And then I'm gonna turn this way, same thing. I'm going to grab from right to left. See how beautiful it just curves, and then make some texture in the back. So I'm placing, this is half of my petal, and I'm gonna finish the other half like loading my palette knife from the other way. And then just in the center, heel and toe. And then that part, you see, give you the option with the icing just to move it a little bit and give some movement. Again, I'm gonna just turn it, same thing, loading my palette from one side. Look at those beautiful ripples. And then just dropping this, and then from the other side. This is how you build your petal. So if this curve too much, just open it a little bit with your finger or another palette knife, or see how we're built in this with a lot of texture. And then I can just do one here. And I can do another, I'm gonna do another one, a little one. Sometimes this is like hard to load this part because this palette knife is on the way of this petal. So what you can do is always, with the help of a second palette knife, just move it from, and then just load it like that.
I like the way the blue from the backing comes through in certain
Right?
places.
Because
It
it's the
gives it
blue
a
icing
really good look.
images. I did it blue and white because icing images. And that's why you like it.
I
You
like it. It's
see,
beautiful.
yeah, if this is on the way, you can always take it out with a second palette knife and then just anchor. So just depart this anchor a little bit. See, now we have like nice texture. Let me just finish this part. Maybe I can just do another one here that is, I can see it a little empty right here. Oh, the other part is like you can make your petals and then just kind of like transfer. So you can make your petals and let it dry in the same, see, like you let it dry in the board. And when there are like little more dry, you can always pick it up to make more, to give more dimension. Because if I want a petal that is like in front, like close, I can always wait for this to dry a little bit and then pick it up with my palette knife. Well, if it's more dry, it's not as dry. But you can always like flip it and then just put it in front. So now you have like a close finish right here. I don't know if you can see it. See, so you can give dimension. So now I'm going just to finish this. I have already this beautiful color that I'm just going to add in the center. And I'm going to make just this, how you say stem, right?
Yep. Yep.
And I mean, I can pipe the leaves, but we are using palette knife, so let's just palette knife up some leaves. Same thing, that
Yeah.
this is the other stroke that you load and then clean the sides like that, and then heel and toes, and then slide down. So now you have your leaves. The other heel, toe, and slide down, and then one more and we finish like here. And I give some texture with my knife, just like making little beep 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 beep. But this is extra, making the leaves
What sound does it make?
like that. Tick, 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 tick. Yeah, if you don't make that sound, it won't look pretty, okay?
Yep. You have to make the sound.
If you don't make that sound, it won't look pretty. So look at this. And
Oh
it was
wow.
super fast, honestly.
Yeah. Gorgeous. Love the
Exactly.
depth and
More
the texture.